Hello, I'm just going to talk about our ocean fishing experience, but from specifically a lady's point of view, just to kind of go over how we kind of have this boat set up and why we do the things that we do, and like just give you some tips, tricks, and like discoveries that we've personally made, and things that like just make it a little bit easier. So we're currently on a Kingfisher. It's an aluminum hull. It's a 2018. It's the 24-25 experience. So if you look around, you have like your holy shit handlebars here. Like you can hang your hats on it. We also have some clothes, like these I can't even think of the word. What are they called? Like clothes hanger that we hang up on here so that we can dry gear out and such. This is the toilet curtain so that you can like pull it around here for privacy, because the toilet sits under this bench. We're doing it a little bit differently. So on the front of the bow we have the toilet out there, and this is more meant of a like a holy shit emergencies happen kind of a thing. So we actually take the toilet and we call it our ensuite, because we have done the redneck version of a sloper back on this boat. We've tarped it off so we have some privacy and to keep the heat in, and also because it's pouring rain outside, so that way it keeps us dry-ish. If you look, we've got corners and there's actually like rain coming in through this, but you know what? Those are minor details. However, going back to the toilet, what we've been doing is we'll take the toilet, just set it up here. We call it the ensuite. Kind of gross, but that's okay. And then close this door for some privacy, and then use the toilet back here. And then when it's not in use, it just goes back up into the bow, or right at the front there. So it's outside, it gets air, no stinky, none of the mess. It has actually worked surprisingly well. We're really happy with that system, and we'll probably continue to use that system. I like that. The other thing that we're doing, which has worked quite well, there's three of us. So one couple, myself and my partner, and then our friend. And if you're familiar with this boat, it does just have the two benches, which you turn into a bed, which sleeps one quite comfortably. But then it kind of leaves a problem is where do the other two people sleep? So what we've done is we bought ourselves a air mattress on a cot, which is a queen size air mattress, and then set it up in the back of this. So the deck is actually big enough to hold this queen size air mattress, as well as this freezer here behind the door and our drink cooler. So that allows for privacy for a couple and or kids or whomever. Probably not kids unless they're like teenagers, because they can go over the sides. But we've been just like very comfortably sleeping back here, and it's been 5 or 6 nights now that we've been doing this situation. We just pack it down in the morning. It takes like literally 5 minutes, not even. And then what we do with all of our gear is we take it up into the front, and underneath here we just store everything under there. You can still see there's some pillows under there and stuff, but there's so much actual storage space under there, like usable storage space. So we put the cot, the frame of it down here, the air mattress down here, sleeping bag, the blanket, like it's like a queen fuzzy blanket. We put pillows down here, and we usually put like all 3 pillows, which are 1 king size, 3 queen, sorry, and all that gets stuffed under here. So that leaves for space behind us. And then you're thinking, well, holy shit, Anna, you got a lot of stuff in here already. It doesn't look super clean. We're at dock right now. We're gonna be staying on the wharf tonight. We've been staying on anchor the last few nights. This is the exact same system we've been using out on anchor. It's worked very well. Like, I highly recommend this particular system because it's so functional and like comfortable You know, I don't like my things a certain way, and found that this has worked insanely well. If you don't have the money to get a sloper back, seriously, 2 tarps are freaking amazing. It works. I mean, you just spent an astronomical amount of money on this boat, so not that it's not worth it, but do the tarps. It does work. Does it look dorky? Yes. Does it look ghetto? Yes, absolutely, when you're sitting in a marina full of like really beautiful massive boats. However, you're out here enjoying your time. It's not about the looks. It does keep in the heat. We have the diesel heater running in here. We have the door open. The temperature is the same in the cab that it is under the tarp. So, and you can hear a crow up on top of the roof at the moment. So, like, if you're worried about being cold, if you're worried about getting wet, if you're worried about all these things, the tarp, if you have it wrapped around the sides and over the back, it'll keep you dry. It does keep the heat in quite a bit. I am sleeping in my sleeping bag that is rated for -18. My partner's sleeping under a blanket. It's a synthetic blanket, like a synthetic down. He obviously stays a lot warmer than I do, but I have been so comfortable every night. I actually sleep better. I have slept better on this trip in the last 5 days than I have slept at home. I'm taking half the medication that I normally do at home, and like I'm sleeping, I close my eyes and I wake up when it's light out. It's insane. So the sleeping bag situation does work. Because the mattress is not on the ground directly, it totally like the airflow underneath doesn't make it so you're freezing your freaking ass off during the night. And my sleeping bag specifically, it's a women's sleeping bag, and it also has insulation on the bottom so that the cold doesn't transfer through from the bottom so much. That's kind of the sleeping situation. The other couple things that we do, I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, is we have our closet and our drying racks here. So we have clothes hangers. We also have S-hooks, which I cannot take credit for, but these S-hooks are freaking amazing. They're such a good thing to have. So you can hang them up on this ledge. You do need a bit of a bigger S-hook in order to make it fit onto this. The other cool thing is if you're drying your like stuff, we were at the hot springs on our first night, so we had like wet stuff. What you can do is you can hook the S-hooks here, which is outside of the cab, and it allows your stuff to dry while it's allowed to drip, because it goes onto your deck here, which has the bilges and everything that it needs to, so it like really works well in that regard. We also have the boat. Really, it's a little bit intimidating if you go from, we went from a bayliner to this aluminum hull. It is intimidating because you're like, oh my god, there's no storage, what are we gonna do? The amount of storage that is actually on this boat, like, as a person who feels like they need to impact their entire lives for a few day trip, the boat storage that it comes with just on its own is like wild. Like, this whole thing under here, this section, all storage. So we have been keeping, mind you, this is our first trip on this boat too, for because we just got it in the fall. But anyways, that whole panel is storage. So we've been keeping like all the like dry food, like snacks and condiments and crap down there that we just don't really reach for. It's super easy to access, which I was gonna argue about that. I did argue about it to begin with, but it's like easy, and it's really not actually that difficult, and it doesn't get in your way, which, so if you're using it like for clothing storage would be a good one. Blankets, anything fluffy that you're just trying to get the hell out of the way, pillows, luggage, like anything like that. So I definitely recommend that spot, and it's a huge spot. Like, it's massive. There's no joking around on that. There's also 2 drawers on each side. They are smaller, so we've just been using them for like cutlery and like those more day-to-day things like cutlery. We have a pot in there, we have our Yeti cups, we have plates and things like that in there. So that's what we use those for. The other really, really cool thing is this Bluetti battery pack. generator. So we've had this guy on board. It is Monday today. We've had this on since Thursday. It is running our freezer that's outside. So it's running that. It's also running our Starlink, which has been running this whole entire time. And this is the Elite 300. Don't ask me to explain the amperage and all the things because I don't really get it. But what I'm trying to tell you is this little package here, you can keep it inside because there's no exhaust. And it like runs this whole freaking boat comfortably. Like I said, we have the freezer, we have the Starlink, we have like all of the luxuries and amenities where we can charge our phones all the time and whatever else you might need. We have that ability to do that. So it's definitely one of those things. Like, I would definitely look into a Bluetti. Like, they're freaking awesome, like especially for situations like this. So those are kind of like the big massive things as a woman who packed and kind of stored and did all the things and did the setup in this boat. Again, we're on the 24-25 Kingfisher. It's the 2018. It's the Experience. These are just a couple like big things that I wish I had known because it would have helped me better prepare or feel more prepared for our trip. If there's anything else you want me to like go through or you have questions about or whatever the case may be, just like definitely comment down below. Follow me. I can talk more about as a woman specifically on one of these boats with two guys who we all know guys are just a little different than us women. We have different needs and standards and all the things. So I'm a creature of comfort. I like certain things and I am not ashamed to admit that. However, you can do something super redneck and like chill and like ghetto, as we were calling the boat earlier, and still be insanely comfortable and like have all the things you need. So there's no reason not to be comfortable. There's no reason not to have a good night's sleep. There's no reason that you can't have your Starlink and all the things. And huge shout out to Elon Musk on getting Starlink. As someone who grew up super remotely and not having access to internet or even like power in a lot of situations, the Starlink is amazing. I'm so grateful for you. It has made my job as a nurse like super accessible, and it's one of those things that I'm so appreciative of and grateful to Elon Musk for. Whether you like the guy or not, I don't really care, to be quite honest. My thought is specifically on the Starlink. The other thing is too, the creators of Bluetti, freaking amazing. The people, like, Kingfisher is based out of Vernon, and that's where it started from my understanding. Support BC, love it. Canadian company, awesome, so cool. You guys make a cool fucking boat, not gonna lie. As someone who has never been in the boating industry, it's like pretty sweet to be on a boat like this. My first experience was with the 2025 half hard top. It was this beautiful blue color, and I want to say it was, I can't even remember like what the model of it is, but super fun, super sporty, beautiful boat. It was like one of those boats that it was like noticeable. Going from that boat over to the Bayliner, which is a fiberglass hull, was a hard thing to get used to. And we fish out of Bella Coola and we fish on the west coast, and you know, like we do go on lakes and stuff. We have 2 very large dogs and 1 smaller dog, and so we never took them on the Bayliner because they're hairy and there is not enough space, and there's stairs, and my one dog is old and it would not work very well. We took this when Jeremy got this boat in the fall. We sold the blue boat. Blue boat is the 2025. We have the white boat up for sale, which is the Bayliner, and we now have the new blue boat because it's a dark blue, and have been transitioning over to this. And we were thinking at first, like, we may regret buying the 24 and should have gotten for a 30-footer. This boat is freaking phenomenal. You can go comfortably on a lake. As a woman, it's easier to load. It's not a sail. It's comfortable. There is so much fishing space. And then if you don't want to really be part of the fishing activities, which I'm not gonna lie, when it's rainy and cold, I come inside and hang out. It is super comfortable. I just curl up on one of the benches, I sleep, I watch my movies, I read, I've been doing school. Like, the cab is very comfortable. So yeah, again, if you have questions, you have comments, you have anything like you want to know, just reach out, and I can make a little video on it, because these are things that I wish I had known. I wish there was more videos about them. There's lots about guys specifically and how they set their rigging up and all that lovely stuff, which honestly I don't really need to know that information. However, if I'm staying on here for 5 to 6 days or more, I want to be comfortable. So again, follow, drop a comment if you need more information, or you want me to go over anything, or if you want me to try and explain the Bluetti to you. May need some instruction on that, but I will do it. So again, I hope you have an amazing trip. I hope this prepares you and you feel a little bit more confident in yourself going out. It's super fun. Let yourself relax. It'll be okay. And I highly recommend, like I said, these couple items that we have. It'll make the trip so much better and like more enjoyable, and you'll be able to dry your gear and do all the things. So have fun. Happy adventuring.